there, and welcome back to Howson versus, and boy, oh boy, have we had some submissions this week. It's almost like people want to be on the show, isn't it? Jamie Redknapp, come on down. So, Jamie Redknapp in the build-up to the game at the weekend against Crystal Palace. Marcus Rashford is out, Gacho is in, and on my previews and the reviews that I've done, I've been like, these two are two trucks going 1 mile an hour different uphill, right? On any given day, you could pick Rashford. On any given day, you could pick Garnacho. They're very, very close. Now, Rashford gets dropped, and everyone's like, I don't get it. He's scoring goals. Oh, yeah. You mean the same way Garnacho is scoring goals? For once in, like, the last 5 years, Manchester United have had actual rotational options. You panned him last year for playing the same side week in, week out. As soon as he gets options and he starts rotating the side, you're panning him again. Not only are you panning him again, just inventing shit. Now I've played a clip.
But you don't drop a player that's just scored 2 in midweek. He scored against Southampton. I'd be nervous to say he's back, but he's certainly showing signs of the energy that we saw Marcus Rashford 2 years ago. It feels there's something that is maybe happened this week. I don't know the manager's frustration.
So Jamie Redknapp goes, there's obviously something that's happened. And then backtracks because someone in his ear must have been like, well, you can't say that, that's libelous, our kid. And he's gone, I don't know anything that's happened, but obviously something's happened. Like, what obviously happened is Garnacho's in pretty good form and Rashford's in, do you know what, they're both in pretty average form, if we're being honest with ourselves. So on any given day, you can pick this one or you can pick this one. That is a manager's prerogative. Why is no one asking where the likes of Neto or Foden or Jota are when they get rotated? Why is it only an issue? Like, it was so clear to me. I think in my preview, I was like, I think he'll go with Rashford, but I'm not mad or upset or surprised if he goes with Garnacho. Yet the second he does go with Garnacho, everyone jumps all over it and is like, oh, what's going on? And then Jamie Redknapp goes off on some, I can't even work out what his point is. He goes off on some rant talking about Ten Hag has openly criticised players and this, that and the other. What did Ten Hag say about Marcus not being in? He said, it's just rotation. I'm very happy with Rashford. So they have to bring up something from when Rashford was late or when Rashford went to Belfast and sort of like squeeze that into maybe this is why he's dropped. Obviously something has happened. And it wasn't on his own. Shearer also said he thinks that something's happened behind the scenes. Why does it have to be some sort of drama anytime that a manager prefers A over B? Fucking nonsense, man. Get a grip. Graham Souness, who I swear to God is on a one-man crusade to come and do a show with me. That's the only explanation for it. This absolute turbo fuckwit has just come out and just the most nonsense ever. And then he tries to justify it and totally misses the fucking mark when he's justifying it. So he says, David Beckham wasn't world class. He says, I think world class is someone that would go into anyone's team. Oh, you mean like the mid-noughties Galacticos? Or the treble-winning United side? Or AC Milan, which had like Ronaldinho and R9 in it? And Gattuso and Pirlo, I think, and others. Or even Paris Saint-Germain at retirement age. Or, do you know that golden generation that people like to fucking touch their cocks about England? David Beckham was the captain of that. So what side was he not getting into, Graham? I've said it so many times, I'm bored of hearing myself say it, and I'm going to say it again. In 1999, David Beckham was the best footballer on planet Earth, right? Now, I don't know what your definition of world class is, and I get it, it's way more subjective than many things. But when you talk about world class, if you say you got to be your best in your position in the world, which is such a fucking narrow band, because that meant when Ronaldo and Messi were both playing right wing, only one of them was world class. Shut up, you fucking dick, right? If you say you got to be in the top 2 players in the world in your position, right? Well, both of them boxes got ticked. Whether he was the number 1 right midfielder in the world or whether he was the number 1 or number 2 right midfielder in the world. At some point, David Beckham was that thing. So, world class, abso-fucking-lutely. Was he in a category of players that could go and do stuff? Yeah, right? Now, Graham likes to talk about medals all the time when he brings up Paul Pogba, right? You don't want to see David Beckham's, mate, because you'll cry. Not only will you cry, here's some stuff that David Beckham's got. Man of the match in a Champions League final. People talk about the big game players stepping up and doing blah, blah, blah. Champions League final, man of the match, David Beckham. You want to talk about performances of, every single, literally from the start, opening game of the Premier League season, David Beckham doing David Beckham things. Amidst the absolute fucking media driven carnage that we saw and all the hate he was getting, David Beckham stands up, delivers. To the very last 38th game of the Premier League season, where Manchester United need someone to pull something out of the bag, David Beckham puts a fucking rocket in the stanch, right? Delivered. On a level of consistency that I don't think people would fully understand right now if you saw it. And then you pick a game. Roy Keane in Turin. Go watch David Beckham. Go watch David Beckham in that game. Ryan Giggs' fucking solo goal against Arsenal. Go watch David Beckham. Go watch the world-class goal he scores in the first half and then go watch his performance throughout the entire fucking game. You want to talk about Dwight York's magic against Barcelona? Watch David Beckham. You want to talk about the fact that he scored a couple of goals against Inter? Go watch David fucking Beckham, right? From the Liverpool game in the Cup, watch David Beckham. Every single fucking game you want to pull out. In fact, I will challenge you. Find me Beckham's worst game in 99. It's still a 7 out of fucking 10. The guy delivered, right? He was a dead ball kicker as good as anyone you want to name, but you're talking about world class. Giggs was world class, Beckham wasn't. Beckham was better than Ryan Giggs, right? He would have wanted to avoid me when he said, would he have been comfortable playing against him? Yes, Graham, because you're a thug from a different fucking era. We've all seen your waist-high challenge and passing the bastard ball back 50 yards to your goalkeeper. Of course he would have wanted to avoid you. I am absolutely sick of this revisionism and just this desire by fuckwits to label David Beckham anything other than the upper echelon, world-class footballer that he was. For a number of years, by the way. So even if you want to be a stats merchant, right, in a time before stats, right? Who was the number one player outside of forwards with goals and assists in the time David Beckham played for Manchester United? It's a long time. You're talking some fucking reap players in that time, right? David Beckham, goals and assists, right? He was fourth on the all-time list, including forwards. Do you know who scored more than him in that fucking time? Alan Shearer, Dennis Bergkamp, and a little fella called Dwight York. Fourth on that list of goals and assists in that time frame, David fucking Beckham. For a right midfielder that wasn't even a winger, certainly not the Mo Salah style that we see now on the right-hand side, that couldn't fucking tackle, that couldn't dribble, that couldn't run very fucking fast, he did all right, didn't he? I am convinced people haven't even watched his highlights, let alone they've just watched the highlights. I don't think people have even watched his highlights. People that want to put Trent in the same breath as David Beckham insult me to the fucking core. David Beckham's a world-class footballer. And if you think otherwise, opinions are opinions and they can't be wrong, right? Well, that's wrong. It's just wrong. Right, this one was said with a straight face, I presume. Jose Mourinho in the low block, which, by the way, that distills Jose Mourinho down to something that he wasn't. He had like 4 games where he really heavily relied upon a low block. Those Inter Milan Barcelona games specifically. Porto's Jose Mourinho, they played football, right? If you don't know that, then you just don't know football. Pep in possession, Jurgen Klopp in the high press. And then he says, Mikel Arteta, the most complete manager alive. He's going down in history. Where the fuck do you start with this? Not only is it completely disrespectful, because the last time I checked, Arsene Wenger was still alive, right? The last time I checked, fucking Unai Emery was still alive. If you want to talk about Arsenal managers that are better than this fucking action man looking fuck, right? Alex Ferguson is alive. I mean, the most complete manager alive. The most complete manager alive. So the most complete manager alive won a COVID FA Cup with somebody else's squad. Since then, spent almost $1 billion and has won fuck all since. He's come second a couple times, which... This comes on the back of them fluking a fucking draw against City without Rodri, which we all now mean that City might get relegated anyway now without Rodri, regardless of the charges. You fluke a draw at the Etihad, right? And then This is the reaction. I mean, it's just the most Arsenal reaction to fucking anything I've ever seen. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was called a PE teacher and beat Pep Guardiola's Manchester City at the Etihad 3 times. Manchester United have literally beaten Manchester City in a competitive fixture at Wembley to lift a trophy a couple of months ago. Saw it. Yet the guy that's done neither of those things, the most complete manager alive. I mean, alive. Not even like the most complete manager working in the Premier League at the moment, which even that you'd be like, got some questions. But the most complete manager alive. Alive. How many managers are alive, Steve? I don't know. I mean, Big Sam's still alive, so... Where the fuck do you even begin with this? Genuinely, the most complete manager. You would think the most complete manager alive would actually fucking win something. The most complete manager alive came back-to-back 8th. I don't think Arteta's shit, right? But this is hyperbole on a whole Arsenal scale, isn't it? What has he fucking done? Genuinely. What has he fucking done? They're so proud of themselves not losing to City. And this is... I've predicted them to win the fucking league this year. May or may not, because I think that City might get derailed by absolutely nothing, not really important tribunal that they've got to go to at some point. But fuck me, man. The most complete manager alive. Wow.